Yeah, just gonna have to deal with me like this for the rest of the entire video. So I stayed up on Discord until 7 a.m. from yesterday after playing 5 hours of Don't Starve with friends and working on Uncharted DVDs, so I'm kind of only on 4 to 5 hours of sleep right now. But that honestly doesn't mean that I still can't have a good time and have family dinner and figure out how to stencil paint Pizza John with family onto my top of my head. The thing I have with isolation and quarantine, right, in the pandemic is you have a lot more time, or I have a lot more time than usual to think about what to do with myself and to create things. This idea sort of seeded itself like a week and a half ago. My mom and stepdad were doing some painting and we got talking about Vlogbrothers or John Green somehow. We used a stencil, which is basically just a picture of Pizza John. You cut out the parts that you want to fill in. That's how we sprinkled the oregano and made it on the pizza. But we're like, could you use paint with a stencil? And of course you could. There's definitely a way to do that. And then we were like, well, my brother and I both need haircuts, and one of the spaces that my mom says is set up a little tiny area with like garbage bags and a stool so they could get haircuts, and it just worked out with the timing that way. In the funny coincidence of it being screwed up and it not working, we shaved my head down so it was more flat. We held it on top of my head and we painted in the sections that would be the white part face on Pizza John with white paint. We considered hair dye, we considered some other things, but this seemed like the best way to do it. And it worked out really, really funny and really, really well. I was planning to buzz my head off anyway, but I figured that I would wait and make this for you so you can actually see what it looked like on top of my head when I'm just like looking down. Oh, it would have been even funnier if I'd like accidentally knocked my head on the ceiling or in some place or bent over and rubbed my head up against the wall and made it look like Pizza John just appeared on my head by happenstance. The other thought that's been on my mind from watching Vlogbrothers videos and looking at journal entries has been this idea of silly and thoughtful. I had to think of my teeth a little bit, but I'm not going to go back and edit this. I'm not going to go back and redo this whole thing. Silly and thoughtful. Like, the thoughtful part is the sincerity and the hard work and the research, and the silly part is the part where work, it's not only just about work, it's about important fun, good for the world, community driven, making a difference, contributing. That's the silly part, the childlike and not the childish. This kind of activity sort of feels like that, absolutely, because it's silly, it takes precision, it's collaborative, it's community inspired, and it's kind of silly and thoughtful to have somebody's head painted on top of my head. So I wanted to leave you with that last little thought nugget too, of course, because how could I possibly not at 9 p.m. at night in the middle of a pandemic? Plus talking like science and faith and labels and boxes and good common humanity was the subject of so many other things for the WTOP Discord fund that I had. So yeah, being silly and sincere and thoughtful matters to me. Have a great day, Dave, and I'll see you tomorrow.